Hello and welcome to the Indie Bandits Twitch and YouTube channel. I'm Joe and we're back with another Indie Impressions. Well, we call it Indie Impressions, who knows how much we'll actually talk about the game that we're playing, but here we are. And joining me today is the other Indie Bandit. It's Archie. How are you, Archie?
Hello.
Having a good week so far?
It's alright. Kind of wish it was the weekend, you know. I'm like
Yeah.
one day ahead. I keep thinking it's the day after the day it actually is. What
That's
can you
not what
do though?
that's not what you want. Alright.
Exactly.
Well, should we crack on with this? We've picked this one for tonight because it's as you said, this is quite a good game to play, sort of two-player, even if there aren't two. If there's not two people actually playing. Not very good at walking forwards in it, but. So you've played this, I've played this, but I haven't got very far in it. I don't know how much you've actually played of it.
I mean, the last time I played this was all the way back in like 2017, so it's been some years. But I put a good 10 hours into this, I think.
All right.
Maybe a little bit less. It does get incredibly difficult, this game.
Yeah. So
But
it's
definitely a game I was very fond of back when I played it. So
yeah, it's a good looking game as well. It's
absolutely, yeah.
so like I played it a bit, maybe 2 or 3 hours, and again this was a couple of years ago when it was free on I guess PS4 gave it away free as a PS Plus game at some point.
They did.
And I got into it then. I thought that this is a good. I'd heard good things from you, and I wanted to do sort of the same approach, and like play play the game with someone there in the room. Oh, you can't jump, can you? It's not really that kind of game. And so I went with that, and basically played for a couple hours, but the last sort of lost interest in it. and then I didn't go back to it because I'd started it with the intention of playing it together. I thought it'd be something nice we could do together, but she just didn't fancy it. Right, am I being stupid? Do I need to start on the other side? Does this game already bested me?
I'd hope not. This is very early days for this game.
I know.
Uh,
Well, it can't be the bottom left
you're
one because the
right,
bottom
Jack.
left one is the one where you need to follow it around. See, it tricks you by having two of them. Welcome to the chat, Rudan. Rudan says in the chat it was about to get cozy and watch a YouTube video, and then boom, the bandits are back in town. We are indeed back in town. Jimmy's not here because he's off on assignment, and by assignment, I mean it's his wife's birthday, and apparently that's more important than hanging out with us. Well, to be fair, we've met his wife and also know when our birthday is, so I think that would be fair to say. I don't think he's making this up. But Joe and Archie are here, and we'll chill and you can get cozy. I would say get cozy with us, but that doesn't sound quite right, does it? But you know what I mean. Get cozy, enjoy us wandering around this beautiful landscape. So I'm already lost, Archie.
Where are we at? Okay, so
I need to go find a puzzle. Yes, that's a good shout. So many wires. Right, so I've got one of them. I'm gonna follow this one here. Oh, there we go. Off we go. I like that seeing me, my shadow, because I don't think you can actually see yourself in this game, can you?
From what I'm aware, you never see yourself. Yeah.
Some flowers. That seemed to... No, I came out of here. Ugh. I'm so... This is why I'm not very good at shooters.
Yes, Rudin, Jonathan Blow did make this. Not single-handedly, though. This was
with the team.
What was the game that came before this? Braid. I think he made Braid single-handedly, but this he got a decent-sized team, I think.
Yeah.
And a little bit more money as well, and I think it really shows.
Yeah, I mean, Braid is... Braid is definitely a sort of a solo dev kind of looking crack on, isn't it?
Certainly is. I have to be honest, I wasn't a big fan of Braid.
I actually haven't played Braid. It's one of these ones that's on the list, and I know it's like it's technically like the epitome of indie games, right? It's like it's featured in that indie game movie. Is it Indie Game the movie? Well, it's featured in that, and they focus heavily on that because it was one of the first games to really like show that indie games could do stuff. Nice.
Well, it was at that time because like Xbox Live Arcade was becoming a big thing back then, back in the PS3, Xbox 360 era, and they were starting like people used to have the at least journalists had the kind of it's good for a downloadable game, but I think Braid was one of those first maybe not first games, but one of those games where people started to notice that downloadable games could actually be pretty sweet,
Yeah.
and like different.
Yeah, that was a different time when downloading games wasn't
Mhm.
not for your large AAAs anyway. I don't think many people would completely
Yeah,
download a large AAA uh,
I just love
project.
them.
But what? I'm gonna follow this because it might go to the cable.
Uh,
That's no, that's not
Also,
okay.
Ruden's saying this is the first time he's heard about this game. That's a shame, that Ruden. This is really good. It's a bit difficult by itself, well, it was for me at least, but it's actually one of those games that isn't necessarily a co-op game, but you could easily sit next to a couple of pals and like work through it together. Because there'll come a point where like the way people think, like people obviously all think a little bit differently, and the kind of like at least when I played it for a friend back in the day. I was good at some puzzles and they were good at some other ones, and it helped us get through some of the trickier solutions.
Yeah, it's not even a matter of taking turns, Rudin. It's more the crack on that you'll I assume that's the one. I'm just going to give it a go. It's more the idea that having like multiple brains focusing on the same puzzle can actually be helpful. Having differing perspectives and brains working in a different way
Hmm.
is the best way to do this. I'm glad I can run. There we go.
And what I loved about this game, especially, is that it seemed to be doing game like it was using its medium in the way that most games don't. So, like, like further on in the game, they kind of like use like different like shaders and perspectives, and they like bring audio into like allowing you to work out how to solve certain puzzles. And the especially like perspective puzzles aren't something you could do like in a book, or even on like a web page really, but in a game, you can really utilize the amount of depth you get with a 3D environment to kind of like play around with that.
You're right saying that's how you'd play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire on PlayStation. Though I'm
Yes.
not sure if that's differing perspectives or just having two people play the game so that it is just
Constant
easier.
phone a friend.
Yeah,
See, this is great how this puzzle you're on now with the
yeah.
kind of the dominoes
This is like
is
keep one on
how
each
it tells
side,
you
right?
how to do one.
Yeah, like
They've got to be separated, yeah.
that's right, isn't it? Yeah,
But yeah, just how it introduces you to like ideas.
yeah. This one is. I think the idea is keep all the white on one side and all the black on another side. Um,
Hmm.
I do like the from saying I haven't played Braid, but this one's different in it. I'm gonna have to go around. Not
Oh,
having
that's
played Braid, but from what I remember in Indie Game the movie, I'm really confused, Archie. Should I go around this way? I think I'm going around this way.
nope.
No, I've definitely screwed that up. I need to
Like go
keep the.
back, go up, right,
You
up,
think like that?
down, right, right. No, back.
Yeah.
Right, down, down. Good when
All
it's
right.
right,
Yeah. Right, and
down,
then I'll take it
up,
round
all the way.
and then separate. Okay.
Doing left, up.
Will that work? Yeah. So, though I didn't play Braid, I did sort of form an opinion of Jonathan Blow based on that movie, which is
Hmm.
probably not a fair opinion because the only thing I've seen from Jonathan Blow is this game, which is very good, and another game
Mhm.
that a lot of people say is very good, and like one interview from that indie game, the movie. But I remember him in that coming off quite arrogant about people not understanding his like genius essentially.
Is
And
off.
yeah, I think I've fluffed this. That's not how that works, is it? And I need to get around here, don't I? I am bamboozled. Maybe I go all the way around and do it that way. Is that an option?
Right. Okay. Do this.
No, I think I've messed this up.
Right. Do this. Do all of that.
Yeah.
So
It's felt
go
like going
right,
wrong.
up, left,
Yeah.
all the way up.
And then capture this
Should no
other one.
back. No, load of bollocks. Don't do that. That doesn't make any sense.
That
Kind of that
time
shape
through.
though. Kind of that shape. So if you go right
What if we?
two.
What about this? Oh no.
Nah, that won't work.
Nah,
Either.
that won't work either. God, we are.
So if you go
not
right two, up two,
Yeah.
left one, left one, down,
You want to like keep them
left,
out
up.
and then
So
capture
shit, no,
this
I
one.
don't- That won't work either. See, this is why this game's fun. In
Yeah.
my head, at least, it's like.
Rudan,
Uh,
you are right saying that Jonathan Blow wasn't well represented in the movie. They only used him for a few scenes, and I remember in Indie Game the movie, the main thing was
Oh,
just a scene of him having a little huff about people not understanding his game. When he saw, I think he saw some rappers playing the game, and they were like, "Oh my god, this is awesome!" and like gushing over the game mechanic. But he wanted
got it.
his like game to be deeper than that.
So go up one. Hang on,
Right.
is it up one? Up all the way to the bottom of the button. No, go down. Sorry, Joe. So it's
Hang on. Yeah.
right, up,
Do I want to go
up
like
again.
this?
Next one.
Is it like that?
Yes, yes, that's it.
Thank
That's
you,
it. So-
pal. Thank you. You just when you showed me when you started going up the other one, I'm like, I've got it. Cheers.
I love it
That's it.
that when you kind of like you work out that first block,
Yeah.
essentially, and the entire solution disappears in front of you. You're like, oh, class.
Yeah, this one didn't
I
really
feel smart.
do anything either. This game does do a lot of these moments where you're like, I am so smart, and then you're like, and then it just shows you another puzzle and makes you look like an idiot. So we'll follow this around. It's a lovely looking game as well. A lot of not much.
Grease of color.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's not like super realistic or super detailed, but it's just a good use of color. I can do this one right. Oh, I smashed it.
They made a follow-up to Indie Game the movie. Well, they made
Did
it
they?
Indie Game movie 2, as far as I'm aware, and I never saw that.
I mean, neither. I should try and find it and
I
give it
think
a
it was
watch.
maybe from different devs, or probably more so catching up with the Super Meat Boy guys.
Yeah. I mean, I thought the movie was good for, I guess capturing just how damn stressful making a game is.
Games.
That one really hurt my head. Just the
Oh,
mirrored.
stuff like this too.
Right. It's got.
Oh, right, okay, so it's down,
But I can't.
down into the middle, then up
yeah,
again.
and then swoop.
Yeah.
I gotta do a cheeky swoop. There we can. Oh. It's a-
Beautiful.
I do like it as well. There's something very therapeutic. So Rudin has seen Indie Game Movie 2, or whatever its working title. Well, not working title, its actual title is.
Oh, right, okay.
And
Spelunky would be a great game to like talk about. Actually, I wasn't a big fan of it, but it kind of had the same. Like when that game came out, I don't think it exploded in the same way that some of the other games did, but
I think it's
it
it's
definitely had its
con-
fan base. Like,
yeah, exactly. It's considered very dear to a lot of people. God, I am just trying not to crash into walls here, which I guess is working for me now.
into the middle.
I've done it. There we go. Look at that. It's cute, isn't it? Are they little people? Like they look like Space Invaders, don't they?
I know what you mean. Yeah.
It's I forget what's called Dio something where you see faces and stuff.
Huh.
A cute little sandcastle.
I didn't realize
Regular
is
sandcastle.
each
Oh.
one an extension of the other, like they're building on top of each other in terms of their shape.
No, but I see what you mean. Like you think you could stack them, maybe that would be cool. I like Derek Yu actually. He comes off from the one thing I saw with Jonathan
Yeah,
Blow.
okay,
Derek,
yeah.
is it Derek Yu? I think it's YU. Is his surname? The Spelunky guy. He comes across like a nice chap. Oh man, Rudan, you're
Fish.
completely right with Phil Fish. It's just like he.
Bit of a tragic story in an odd way, I guess, but
It worked out alright. Phil Fish was another one of these like auteur kind of guys, wasn't it? Who was like really taking his thing like seriously, and I mean rightly so. It's his project, and it's he wanted to make the game he wanted to make, but he was very much like troubled creative or troubled visionary, a bit like Jonathan Blow, like this
Yeah.
suffering like artistic type. Bless him, and he was tearing his hair out, wasn't he? And he was like, I'm starting the whole game over again from scratch. I'm lost, Archie. Oh, that's the way I came in.
no, just keep going. There's no loss in this game. I feel. I'm sure. If
No,
you,
there's not.
you
But
know,
I mean, the loss going back
Alright,
to the
but-
start area is
yeah,
a bit
180.
pointless, isn't it? But, poor Phil Fish, man. I mean, I hope he did. Like, I hope he
Something.
got better. I guess he was not. He was not well during the filming of that game, and I think it was.
Yes, and especially afterwards when he disappeared. Not disappeared, and like like he kind of like made himself disappear, I guess.
Yeah. We'll pop her up here. Yeah, Phil Fish is a great guy. He's in that film. Obviously, I don't know him personally. Oh,
Oh, I remember doing this one. This one's great.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
it's where the
it's
red apples are. That's what you're
yeah,
looking for.
yeah. I can see it. It lines up perfectly, isn't it? This is what a lot of the
Mhm.
game is, isn't it? It's like seeing patterns in the environment and then replicating them to some extent in the game world.
It's great.
So we branch right, then we branch left, and then we right. Swoop.
I wonder if we'll ever see Phil Fish again. I kind of hope so. I wouldn't. I only played
I
a little
loved
bit of Fez,
Fez.
and I could see
I
it's
loved
like
Fez.
how good it was.
I had to look up. This one is cheeky because it
was
makes you have to
great.
remember it in it. What are we? Left, right, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left. I've already almost forgotten. Left, right, left.
Right.
Yeah. Oh man, Rudan, you're right. When Phil Fish takes the build of his game to the game convention in Indie Game the Movie, and there's a game-breaking bug in it, and he was like so right to show everyone this cool little game he made, and people are like, "Yeah, it's cute, but doesn't really work. It's a bit buggy."
I know.
So
And then
You
what was it the
felt
bit
for the
before
guy,
that?
didn't
He
you?
had to get the he had to get a signature from his ex teammate or something.
oh yeah, they'd had a falling out, didn't they? That was another.
Yeah, and he got it on the day he was supposed to be showing Fez, and if he hadn't got it, he wouldn't have been able to show it or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the guy's obviously got some maybe personal like
What?
troubles, you know, and I'd like him to come back and maybe advise him to get off Twitter because it's obviously not a healthy place to be.
Yeah.
Indulge in his art.
That doesn't reset everything, does it? Or does it just reset the last one I failed?
Just resets the last one.
So I've got to redo this one.
What? No, what's wrong, Joe?
I want to put the cable back on. I'm lighting it back up. Yeah, there we go.
Oh yeah, it did reset.
Left, right, right, left. Left, right, right, left. Right? So left, right, right, left. That's the one I think. And it's like nah. Left, right, right, left in my head. Am I being stupid? Is it like mirrored? Is it the other way around?
No, I didn't think so. See, go look at it from that same angle again. Take a step back.
Oh, is it?
So
just...
it's left, right. So left, right, right, left.
That's what I was doing.
Oh,
Left,
right, right,
right,
and that didn't work.
right, left, and that's what shut the whole thing down.
No, come back. I just saw something.
Yeah, I'm having a deeks.
Oh, maybe I didn't see something.
No, nothing.
And that didn't work at all.
No, the game's already bested us. But
Right.
I'll rejigger him. See, that's left, right, 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 left, right all the way. I'm feeling this one.
Look at that panel again. I think that might be it.
Now, is this a
Right, there's a
strip?
broken branch. Yep, it's in reverse, true. There's a broken branch right there, and that's represented on the opposite side of the graph.
Yeah, I see it there.
So it's in reverse, yeah.
So it's this way around, which is right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, left, left, right. Ah, thank you, Archie. Well spotted.
Ooh.
Rudan, you're right to say that there's too much politics on Twitter. Like, now I don't mind people having political debate or anything like that. And you know what? Like, if you want to go on Twitter and chat about it, I just wish there was a better way for Twitter to like filter it out, because you know Twitter is just one big wall of people saying stuff, and you know. And the problem is you can't just follow people when they're talking about things you want to follow them for. So you're always going to get all their content. Whereas, like, you know, on Discord, like, you can have channels and the like. So you can say, like, oh, this is the channel to chat politics, this is the channel to chat whatever. And I think, like, with Twitter, that's the problem. There aren't channels. It's just everyone shouting, and sooner or later, it's going to get political, and it does.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not against, like you say, I'm not against politics as well. But I kind of feel like, why can't people just be a bit more kind of like civil about the whole thing? Like, Joe, we probably disagree on some things, but that doesn't
Everything,
result in
Archie.
us having it. Yeah, almost
I think we
everything.
agree on everything. Actually, I'm disagreeing with
We
you.
agree on most things. But even if we disagree, it doesn't end up with us having like a shouting match at each other, does it? It's just kind of like, oh, just we kind of like what agree to disagree kind of thing,
Yeah.
and move on. There's no
Yeah.
point arguing with these people. You're not gonna most of the time convince them.
Well,
Like,
what's the rule of thumb we have?
what are you
It's
gonna win by doing that? Like,
the rule of thumb is politics, money, and religion. Don't talk to your friends about these things. It almost makes you think talking to complete strangers on the internet about it is even less likely. I mean, if Archie, you've spent years trying to tell me how good like Dark Souls and Souls-like games are, and I'm still not a convinced fan. I've listened to you, but it's not like I'm
because you're stupid.
yeah, exactly.
Because you're
But
thick.
it's exactly it's yeah. But imagine if I'm not going to do that when you tell us, and you've been my mate for years. Why would I
Yeah.
do it? Why would I do it for a complete stranger on the internet? Especially someone who is just like voicing their opinion.
Have you ever had that though, when like for instance, you've maybe disliked something or another? Like, I'm sure there was like a film I disliked once, and I watched somebody talk about it on like a video essay on the internet, because I quite like video essays about film on the
Mm-hmm.
internet, and they described it in such a way that made me like completely 180 on it, and like, oh, like their perspective of the film makes much more sense, and now I enjoy it a bit more. Like, I've had that happen a few times.
Oh
I
yeah,
can't remember
I
which
don't
bloody
mind
film
the
it was.
old.
Like,
I've already got this wrong, haven't I? Oh, that stupid joke. Yeah, Rudan, you're right. People portraying Brits on the internet as tea drinkers. I'm gonna really disappoint you here, but I do have a cup of tea right here with us. Not even not even joking. It's my sort of nightimey nice tea. Left, right, and it's not a classic British tea though. It's not like tea with milk in it. You know,
and what's the point?
it's no, it's a dietary tea. I said on the last stream that I was doing the whole kombucha thing, which is good for your tum tum. Well, I've got some tea, which is good for your tum tum as well. Right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right. Okay. Well, yeah. The thing I get about us, the British stereotypes, is one, the tea drinkers. He says, taking a slurp of his delicious tea. Is that Archie and I are both from the northeast, and I feel that folk in the northeast are well removed from that typical stereotype. We're not even,
Now we have a
we are,
fight and stir.
we couldn't be less like Londoners in some respect, like especially with the English. I feel sometimes I feel like more closely related to the Scots than your typical stereotypical Londoner, for example. But anytime we travel somewhere, we're either lagerlouts holidaying abroad, or we're the Edwardian business suit wearing businessman rushing around with a bowler hat on and a umbrella or something, some nonsense like this.
What's unusual is like when I usually travel down south, I always get mistaken, not always, but I've frequently been mistaken for being Irish.
Same.
For some
This is a
reason.
weird thing
Like,
that a lot of Southerners have been like, "Oh, where are you from? An island?" I'm like, Newcastle. Actually,
yeah.
I'll tell you what. I do remember going to London one time, right? And we were outside Harrods, and there was this bloke who was clearly Italian. I'm not even joking. Like, I could hear he almost had like the Super Mario accent, right? Like he was
Oh,
too
really?
stereotypically the right? The R's on the end of every word thing. And he was asking a guy. I'll not do the accent, but he was asking a Londoner to take a photo of him outside of Harrods and his family. And the Londoner turns to him, he's like, "Oh, nice, you're from Newcastle." I'm like, "What?" It's like, it's not even close. It's like, yeah, Newcastle in the south of Italy. Excellent. I'm really stuck on this one, Archie. I think I've worked out that there was an apple somewhere, but I've got to work out which one was broken.
Right, there's 2 broken branches here, and
There's
it's working
3.
out which one's which. There's 3. Hang on.
There's
Then you
3.
go for broken.
Which one is the
Right.
broken one that's not represented on the screen?
So this is the right way up.
It's the right
Hang
way
on.
around.
I'm getting it. You go up
So I think
2.
it's
The
I think it's
Duh.
right, left, right, left.
Duh.
That's the only one that's on the
It's
right, left is the one
it's
that's
the middle
broken.
one, so it's like it's right, left, right, left. You're right. Yeah.
You see the one I'm
Because
hovering over on my
it's the
mouse
one. Yeah, it's
cursor.
the one that's broken. That's represented on the panel.
Think. I can't get it. That one.
Boom.
Yeah, nice one. Well, as Rudan, you said you're from London and your nan was Irish. Look, we've got nothing against Londoners, even though we are
Oh,
supposed to hate everyone. You know, as Northerners, women hate everyone from down south. That's a nice picture. But you know what? Like life's too short to get head up over like a distinct group of people. That's a lot of hate, isn't it? Just like I'm too apathetic and lazy to maintain hate for entire groups of people. It's a very
most people are generally very nice people.
and even if they're not very nice people, they're no
Yeah,
nicer or worse
yeah,
than us. Do you
exactly.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
and there's horrible, nasty people absolutely everywhere. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. It's
I know more northern people I dislike than I know southern people. So
to be fair, I know more northern people than southern people, so that's the most of the
yeah,
people
that's it.
the most of the people I dislike are probably northerners, and that's just because I know more of them. There's more people to end up disliking. Not hate though, not hate. I dislike or just not like. Like I don't have to go out and like put an effort into liking everyone. But I'm not gonna waste energy on hating people. It just seems like you can do better stuff with your time and energy than like hating on stuff. That brings us back to the whole Twitter thing as well.
That's
You know,
yeah. That's what I was about to say. That's why I just don't understand Twitter.
like if you're gonna use your Twitter, can I eat this apple? Nom 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 nom. If you're gonna use Twitter to just go on and get annoyed at people who disagree with you and then fight with them, why don't you do something that's like more productive with your time?
I think this is kind of why I like using Instagram as like
It's
I
a more
guess the
joyful
only
place, isn't it?
yeah, like
Is
it's
this
just
all this
photos
did,
of
by
things.
the way? It just shows some apples and drawings.
There
Is
might
that?
be a clue somewhere.
Oh, trees
But
are
like
hearts.
Instagram's just usually like photos of things that people like art or pictures of dogs or I guess themselves
It's very
sometimes. If
positive and
possible.
aspirational Instagram, isn't it?
Yeah, and Twitter seems to be the opposite of that. Oh, there's a monolith.
Classic monolith.
Ooh.
Is it a monolith? Oh no, it looks like a stack of
Yeah.
tires. Oh, it's not quite. It's a stack of
PS1
octagonal.
tires.
Yeah. Yeah, I do like Twitter for the Indie Bandits account, but that's obviously that is very like closely curated, so that I only follow devs who constantly spout about game dev, because you know, sadly, there are people whose games I'm very interested in, but when their tweets start to fill up my timeline with stuff that has nothing to do with indie game dev, then you're on a quick route for an unfollow. Basically, that's if it turns out that every tweet is you getting angry with people politically, then you know I'm gonna have to call it a day. Did we not finish this?
No, there's something missing here. Go back.
Oh, I never went and did this. Haha. What a dafty.
Missing something.
We just left this whole thing and
Yeah, you can do that in this game quite easily, but
Yeah,
it never penalizes
nice,
you
though.
for doing it. I quite like it.
yeah, that's very nice. But yes, Rudan. Hello, long play.
Oh,
Welcome.
long play.
Long play in his house. Yes, Rudan says just go on Twitter to chat with people about games, and haven't started posting about my game yet. Rudan, when you do, obviously let us know. I am a big fan of a cheeky retweet on Twitter. That's kind of what we do. That's what we're here for. We are going to try and use our Twitter for good. I don't like I said for my previous points about Twitter. I'm not that into it, so I just like it to like read stuff that people are doing and just, you know, give indie devs a little push when it comes to chatting about their games. and hopefully as our Twitter grows, we can make that more powerful for other indie devs.
I must say, like for these new generation of consoles, unless I've fallen out of the news loop a little bit, there's definitely less of a indie voice than there used to be. Seems like Sony and Microsoft are pushing their AAA games a little harder now than they used to with the more so than they usually would have with indie games.
I think this new gen has to
Disappointing.
look pretty powerful though, isn't it? Oh man, Jesus. What's
I
in this
imagine what
tea?
will happen is you've got it.
Yeah, I know, but it's the whole warpiness of it is really
Oh, right. I imagine they'll start off with like just pushing AAAs. I think that probably is how they get people on board to buy their platform. Then in the second year or so of the console's life cycle, they'll probably start pushing more, independent titles. They'll have more money to play with, buy up some small indie companies maybe. What is your take, Long Play, on this?
On the new console
if you want to share it, that is.
And Rudan, I agree that with new tech you've got to try and push what it can do, because that's its unique selling point. Because at the minute they all have the same game library, right? Essentially,
they won't for much longer. Like
right,
I think,
but there's no exclusives at this point, really. There are a handful.
There's Demon Souls.
Yeah, but that's your one game in it. Like that's your.
It's the only game, really. Like
exactly. So I'm just thinking.
Still
didn't like that. I gotta hit all these things maybe. Yeah, it's like that's why I haven't even bothered trying to get a PS5 because I'm like, I'm not that into Demon Souls, and
like what else would you get for it? Like
exactly.
In all brutal honesty, what else would you get for it? And I'm not knocking the machine or anything like that. It's just both of these new consoles have a very, very limited library for the price tag of the machine. Like. Yeah, the hang on, sorry, I didn't want to miss out. Yeah, I can imagine there is an ebb and flow. Like, I think the Vita, like, in reference to what Longplay is saying, as a former dev for the Vita and XBLA, there's a certain ebb and flow, and I think the Vita would have been a great place to kind of showcase more independent titles, but that console was just thrown under the bus by Sony a little bit.
Yeah, and then the Switch came,
and it had nothing.
So did I, but the Switch came along and then it showed you what the Vita could have done with it, because
100%. Like
you don't need a whole load of power for most indie projects. Obviously they're usually smaller in scope, usually less hardware intensive, which that's not a judgment. That's just generally quite a fact of the games, and it means they can go with you most places. Man, if you're buying Demon Souls for the PS5 version, man, you don't want that watered down for a Switch port, do you? But if you want something like a little indie game that can go anywhere with you on a long bus journey or a flight, which is when I usually play my Switch, man, it's like indie games in portable mode they should have jumped straight on it, Sony, to be fair.
Oh, I know. Let's have a look at it.
Yeah, long play. Sorry, are you looking at the game? I'm looking at long play.
Sorry,
chat.
I'm looking at the. I end up getting up the chat, and I end up looking at the Twitch stream by accident.
And then
so I'm always like 5
delay.
seconds behind you or something. Like,
right.
I love this puzzle by the way, where they put the
clots on it. Yeah, Longplay says the Vita was like 90% indie, as the whole first year of the PS4 was. I think indie games maybe get to market sooner, or maybe they, because they work in a sort of, probably they don't follow this development cycle. You can correct me if I'm wrong here, but probably because the big AAA titles are like looking to be launch titles or X, Y, and Z, or have all these things. There's more indies out there, and yeah, Longplay agrees. Indies are super fast movers, weeks or months, so they can probably get to launch a little easier than, well, there's more of them and they can get to launch easier. So I guess they, early days on most consoles, they'll. Can I crouch?
Yeah, I've heard that the AAA do get a lot of concessions
Can you see
in
where
order
this
to
is
get
going?
to.
Do I just have to assume it's going around here?
Well, it's obviously not in the bottom. Oh, is it? It's in the bottom. It's in the bottom left one, Joe, I think. Because I think you can see it just on the the
Is
most
there a way to see
southern
the
part of
sun?
the. Sorry, I'm
Uh,
looking on the bloody Twitch again.
no, yeah, you're right. You're right. I think it goes
Yeah.
all the way around. Yeah, I think they have a fast mover advantage, I guess you'd call it, and in AAA, as you said, long play demand concessions.
This
So
puzzle's so good. Like this is what I was
yeah,
talking about a little bit earlier when I'm saying this game utilizes game in order to get the environment in order to complete puzzles.
yeah,
And
this
I've
is
never
something you
ever
couldn't
seen
do
like
in a book.
yeah, like they're using the roughness maps of like the textures in order to allow you to solve the puzzle
Is that
or the
that's
specular
got to
map.
go all the way
I'm not
around?
sure.
It's got to be right because it can
It's
only
so
go.
good.
I'm gonna go with this. Oh well,
But I'm gonna
computer says no.
rewind a little bit here to something Rudin said, and
Bethesda
what
and
is
Xbox.
interesting, the Bethesda thing, and I think what does interest me, at least in the AAA space for this generation, is that it feels like Microsoft and Sony, especially Microsoft, are like playing like a real hard game this time round, while in the previous generation, like Microsoft seemingly sat back and did nothing in both the indie space and the AAA space, and Sony just ran with like what they've been doing on the PS3, just releasing games from the companies they have in their first party, but having Microsoft come along and buy Bethesda and thus acquiring what like 6 different studios or something like that, and a lot of worthwhile IP. There's going to be a lot of like hard competition for like people's interests this time round. So I'm curious to where it's going to end up in a couple of years' time, and like depending on whether Microsoft is going to like keep those games exclusive. I'm assuming it will, but you never know what might happen.
There we go, and that's what I needed. Or maybe not. I need to see where this one goes. I need to get old Sunny Boy in the go. Right, okay.
And I think Game Pass as well. Like, I think Microsoft's obviously putting a lot of its money into Game Pass right now, and rightfully so, because I think Game Pass is like very good.
Oh yeah,
And
I think that's potentially the future of gaming and
yeah,
Netflix for
100%.
games. So I mean, that's Netflix for everything is basically like the slogan for things that are going to be successful now. People want stuff on demand, and clearly aren't that bothered about it getting taken away from them. I thought about this for a while actually. The like the complaints that you don't own your games
2
anymore.
seconds, pal. I've literally just unplugged my headphones by accident. They are back
excellent.
in now.
Excellent. But no, I was just saying, Archie, pay attention,
Yes.
pal. That
Sorry.
that I don't think I have that many complaints about things being available to me temporarily and then being taken from me, because you know what, we do that with Netflix all the time. It's very rare that I've been like, oh, hang on, Netflix took this off. I'm going to cancel my whole subscription. Never happens.
Yeah, 100%. As a consumer point of view, I think something like Game Pass is like excellent, but there's a potential. Like I've heard something like Spotify is kind of like the alternative to, I guess, the music alternative to Netflix, even though everything I guess stays on there pretty much indefinitely. I've heard a lot of musicians say Spotify has not really been good for them because they get so little money back
Yeah.
from the company of how many players they get. And I'm not sure how Microsoft Game Pass works. And I think it's probably similar to PS Plus. And from what I know of that, is that Sony goes to the company and they give them the amount of money that they believe they would have got in that how many units they would have sold in that time. If that makes, I mean, yeah, it doesn't really make much sense in my head, but it's something like that. Like the Oddworld game, for instance, is going to be free on PlayStation Plus for PS5 this coming month. And I imagine they've looked at kind of like, oh, we expect you to sell this much in this time. Da 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 da. We'll give you that much money, as in like as if you were to sell them that many copies.
Yeah.
Sort of makes sense, I guess, but I have absolutely no idea if that holds any truth.
Yeah. I mean, Rudan in the chat has mentioned Game Pass and how much money it saved them, and that's true. And it makes a good point about free online gaming for PC. whereas all the
Mm-hmm.
consoles seem to have that's another subscription. Now I know you like a good monthly
Exactly.
subscription. By the way, I think 90% of Archie's disposable income just goes on subscription-based services, and when he
I've cut
doesn't,
back.
when he finds that he has money left over at the end of the month, I think he just subscribes to people on Patreon to just make sure he doesn't have that cash burn in his hand. But yeah, you are right with the whole that most of my subscriptions are just online subscriptions for consoles, like like you said, Rudin. Being gutted when Nintendo started charging, that was a little bit of the bonus, and you don't pay for much now. I think it's only 40 dings a month, a year, sorry, for the Nintendo one, because I buy the
Yeah.
family pack and like treat my brothers, my little
Mm.
brothers to an online subscription. But again, the service isn't very good. They don't offer you much. They don't even have like native. I don't think they have native voice support on the console. Maybe that's changed,
It's
but I just
insane.
remember like voice chat and stuff like that isn't there. But also, it's a Nintendo. I mean, like I'm not excusing them, but there's definitely a culture they want to nurture on their platform, and having people
Mm.
say things to you live is probably gonna like. You basically just don't want some griefer like
Yeah,
calling
like
you like
calling your
the
5-year-old like the C word or something.
or
Like,
probably worse, probably the N word. It's I feel
yeah.
like that's what online gaming can be like when you play
Yeah.
with absolute
You should
strangers.
have played it.
And
My prediction is that Sony is now going to find a way to emulate their games on a PC, and then you're going to see their version of Sony Game Pass. So they've got PS Now, but it's a far inferior service compared to Game Pass. It's not terrible, but not great. And I think they'll find a way. You'll stream them as you can with some Xbox games coming up. But I think Stadia is probably giving people a bit of cold feet with regards to streaming. But I think Sony will find a way, firstly, to emulate their back catalogue on a PC. And I think when you do that, that's a huge, huge back catalogue of games. Like people could go to and indulge.
well, that's what they
That'd be
do.
my
That's
that'd be
that's
my
the
prediction. Like,
Nintendo's live
mhm.
service gives you like old NES and SNES games as like part of your subscription. They just keep uploading this library of like old emulated games, which
Mm.
might be actual like ROMs. Like I've heard people say that when Nintendo like releases their old games, they've actually
Mhm.
found them, and they're actually in some cases they were like just ROM versions. Like they didn't even bother go finding their own like cartridges. They just downloaded an illegal version and then sold it back to people. It's good on them.
Long play with regards to working with Sony. I have friends who have said we might have the same friends who have said the exact same thing.
And I feel Rudan's pain for
Hmm.
Mario Maker charging you for to upload levels and requiring a subscription. That like a subscription is a tough thing to add on to anything.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like having to going from not having to pay for something to pay for something is probably more painful than just knowing it from the outset.
I think Sony were quite clever about it back in the day, but I think there's a bit of a somewhat of a bad trend in some way. So when PS3 came out, their online was free to compete with Microsoft back in the day, because obviously Xbox Live's always had a subscription charge. So they introduced PlayStation Plus, and I think when they introduced PlayStation Plus and then integrated their network side of it into that, it kind of softened the blow of a subscription to your online service a little bit. Obviously, some people are probably still up in arms about it, but I guess if you're giving Sony £6 or X amount of dollars every month, it feels a little easier to take when you have those two free games. Well, free in inverted commas. So I think they were quite clever with that, but I think we're getting into a trend where kind of like games are somewhat losing their value when we're getting them. Like Final Fantasy VII's like free. No, sorry, again, it's on PlayStation Plus this month,
Yeah.
and that game's not even a year old at this point, or it's just a year old. It feels like we're kind of taking the value of them all away a little bit, and it's kind of introducing this mentality that you should only ever get this type of game on PlayStation Plus, if you know what I mean, or on Xbox
Yeah, like
Live,
it's
whatever.
turned certain games into this is just a free giveaway game. Like
Yeah, exactly. Like you could put an indie game on there, and people are like, "What's this? This isn't Final Fantasy 24," or you know what I mean? Like, people are becoming quite like spoiled about it. Not everybody, but you do see those comments.
yeah,
I think it's a worry in a weird way, kind of. I don't know. To me, in my mind at least, it almost takes a little bit of worth away from the product when they're becoming available for considerably less so quickly.
yeah. And I don't subscribe to the fact that AAA games need to be the cost they are, because
Not a chance.
I know they're expensive. I know they cost like billions to make, but if they needed to be that expensive, surely they would they wouldn't make as much money. And I don't see EA and Ubisoft, for example, struggling to make
Well,
pay the bills. Do you know?
especially EA. Like, I'm not meaning to have a go at them, but they've got like numerous like like avenues of income.
Yeah, the
Like,
argument that they need to charge what they charge for their
they
games
don't.
to like cover costs is utter nonsense. Like the argument can't support itself, because then you can't turn around and start giving execs like billions, or millions or tons of cash in bloody bonuses. It's
Yeah, I mean, games have shown profits like nothing before. Not all of them. I think some companies have maybe struggled, but the big boys, your Activisions and all that, like they're making plenty of money off these games at the previous price they were on. Like, I do not believe that Call of Duty has ever struggled to make its profit. You know what I mean? Like, maybe those margins are getting smaller and smaller, but
which is probably why what they're complaining about.
but are they getting that much smaller? I need a little convincing on that, to be honest. It's
Hello.
70 quid for a new £70 for a new like AAA game is a really tough thing to sell to people. I think, especially after this year, when millions and millions of people have lost their jobs. I think
Right.
it's a little cheeky in my
It's
eyes.
cheeky. It is. And welcome to the chat, lol gamers. Yes, this isn't the most. This is probably why we're chatting about anything but the game. This is not the most like interesting part of the game, and I don't think. Uh, well, I was gonna say just listen to us. Just listen. Don't worry about what's going on screen. My brain's sort of half detached to listening
Yeah, we've been
to
here a while. Do you want to go
Archie.
somewhere else for a bit? Maybe
Yeah.
refresh your brain in another part of the world.
Do you have any suggestions, lol gamers, as to an area we go that's a little bit more interesting? I kind of just wandered over here, and then we started talking about the AAA gaming industry,
Yeah,
and you know what? It was a lovely day over here in Spain. I've had quite enough sun. I do not need to spend more time in a virtual desert.
Guess what? It was raining here.
Yes. Well,
I'm not gonna lie, by the way, going by, like, I like AAA games as much as like the next person.
oh, there's you know what? They're like,
Like,
there is a side of them that is a well-made product made by many talented developers, and we say this on the podcast all the time. We support developers in any way, shape, or
mhm.
form. We believe the devs are the people who are passionate about the projects they're making, even at Ubisoft and EA and all these big companies. But the sad thing is, they get their arms twisted and forced to make games. And I don't mean like well, I was going to say I don't mean forced like cracking the whip or whatever, but
Mm.
not that the working practices in some of these companies are really to be praised, but we do believe that devs are hardworking people who are passionate about games, and left to their own devices would probably make very good games. But then come the corporate decisions of, hey, throw this in, throw that in, or we need to have microtransactions, we need this retention. Lolgamer suggests the Keep. I like the Keep as a Castle Keep. As Geordie's, there's the Castle of Newcastle is the Castle Keep, and you know what? I think the one in this game actually looks a little bit like it.
Mhm.
I wasn't.
Yeah,
I was 25 when I first visited the Castle Keep in town. By the way, I feel that's a
I'm
really
pretty
weird
much the
thing.
same.
Growing up in Newcastle, and
Not
there
going
being
to
a
the
castle, never visited the castle. Walked past it like almost every day. Never visited though, until I was at uni, and they did a trip to it for like students. So I went along. Finally saw the
I've
castle.
also just noticed in the recommended channels that True Geordie is now streaming.
Yes, I got that recommendation. Now I don't
He
think
does. He does have close to the same amount of people watching. He's got 9,958 people watching his stream.
hey,
Good for him.
it's early days, and it's quality over quantity. By the way, we have better viewers. And
Oh no, I wasn't having a go or anything. I was just saying, I'm just kind of like it's good. It's good to see
where
like
is
a
the keep?
Geordie lad, like getting such like high viewership. Like,
Hang on, where is the keep?
uh,
Is that the keep? No,
go to the windmill.
that's not quite a keep. Lol gamers, you're gonna have to settle. You're gonna have to settle for a windmill rather than a keep. Unless the windmill's part of the keep, I'm lost. I am got terrible direction. And Longplay says microtrans in single player. I don't know. Honestly, I mean, I wouldn't put it past them. I can't think of an example where there are microtransactions in a single player game,
I
but there is a lot
know
of DLC maybe.
not so
Oh,
much microtransactions, but I know EA was under fire a little bit because they'd put advertising in their UFC game, and I know that knocked a lot of people because I
that
think
a
it was
wooden
because they
bridge?
said they weren't going to do it, and they just went and did it. Like,
It's but they're absolutely shameless, and I'm sorry, Lol Gamers is trying to direct me, but I don't know what the delay is on this game. He said wooden bridge, but I've already forgotten where it was. You know what? I'm gonna go easy on the last next time we're traveling anywhere, and
excuse
she
me.
gets us lost because it's my source of direction in games is just horrendous. We've been playing what's it hang on, what's it called? Tom Clancy
Oh
Siege.
yes.
What's the game called?
Siege, yeah,
Yeah,
the Rainbow Six Siege, yes.
Rainbow Six Siege, and I haven't learned a single map yet. I do not know my way around anywhere.
Oh, I've been playing that game for like 20 odd hours now, and I'm still like, he's in the room, but there's like
Yeah,
8, 9, 10, 15 rooms per map.
it tells you at the bottom of the screen as well in that game. This isn't a keep.
Does it
This is a
actually? I don't
town.
think I've ever noticed that. Like, I remember the Shadow of War stuff. Ruden's just saying about how Shadow of War had microtransactions in its single player. I think that turned a lot of people off that game. Because I remember the what was the first one called? Shadow of Mordor. Everyone was pretty like warm to that, but then Shadow of War went and put in like these grindy aspects in order to persuade people to try and indulge in the odd microtransaction.
Oh, I found a wooden bridge.
And,
Was I already at the keep? Is that the keep? That's gotta be the keep, right? Smashed it. Lol Gamers was right if this is the keep. That looks like a keep to me, right?
well, nice keep.
It's a lovely keep. It's a keeper. Oh, excellent. Yes, I've made it. But yeah, I feel like
Well, okay.
I feel we need. Well, this is why we like indies, isn't it? Because it's good for creators to have
There you go, Bob,
their
over
vision
there.
and able to this looks easy enough. Have their own vision and be able to actually follow through with
Oh,
it
I
without
remember
someone over the top. Someone higher up, I guess, telling them that it needs X, Y, and Z.
So, okay, you've got to walk on the panels, Joe.
Yep, look at that. Having a terrible day, these two. Well, one of them's having a much better day than the other one, to be fair.
Look
Yeah,
at me sword pet. Oh, it's lovely. Just get it out of your face.
yeah. So this bottom, yeah, like that corresponds to this, doesn't it? Oh.
Sorry, I was looking at the Twitch again. So I'm always a little bit behind. Right, focus on the stream and not the Twitch stream.
Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, the hedge. Jesus, you know what? And lol gamers.
This is the bit where
if you
it's
think the
audio,
hedge maze is easier, you've got to understand that I barely could find the hedge maze and it was right behind us.
Some of this requires audio, though, from what I remember.
I can hear all right.
Like the rustling.
Smashed it. Is this the maze I just found? Do I have to like go the way I went? I guess not. Was that the way I went? I swiggled at the end.
Wah, wah.
And... Oh no, there was an up and downy bit. I didn't do the up and downy bit. That was I missed. Right, it felt like it was kind of this crack on. Look at that! Look at that! Hoo-wah. Oh, nice. This was cute. Right, so I've got to like make my way to the easy. Watch this. Watch me be like, nope. I guess I'll
do even set up. That's better.
hang on. Right, so I walk in the bottom left, and then I take a right. That's it. Oh no, no, there's crap on the floor. Maybe I avoid the crap on the floor. Right. Go
Was
in.
that GDC long play, the ray tracing conferences, or was that something else? GDC is just like the best hub of like information you could like possibly go to if you're in game development.
What? No, don't worry, I'm not wanting at you. I'm wanting at this puzzle. I've got it, but now my head's
Oh,
trying
nice.
to do some twitchy stuff. I know I skipped the first one, so I come in on the second one, but after a little wiggle, right?
Alright, what is the name about GDC long play? I'm just curious. Alright, it says it's a drinking and social club.
Sounds good.
Yeah, sign me up.
I know, because my coding skills are non-existent, but my drinking and social skills are subpar. Right, I go in, I take a right, then I take a left, and do I take another left? No, I do not.
Okay. I tried reading a SIGGRAPH paper for my master's degree over here, and I got like one paragraph into it, and my brain just like fucking exploded. Hey, Calbonk, you alright?
Oh, I did it. I think that was by brute forcing it, by the way. I don't think I actually was actually smart about this. Alright, is this the... Alright, I'm
Doing very well, thank you, Calbonk. I hope you're having a good day.
I am also doing very well, but I'm not. I'm trying to work this out, and this is high. This is why Archie
This
needs
is
to be here.
the audio one.
Yeah, I can
think
hear
that's
it.
when you
No, I can hear fine, but
Claws.
hmm.
Oh, I've done this before, lol gamers. This is the one I remember, like when I did this a couple of years ago.
I already got this. No, I'd to be fair, I'd clocked it myself, but I've just I could immediately hear some weird crunchy.
This is one of those puzzles when I'd played it back in the day. I was kind of like, "Oh, that's really cool." It entertained me at least. So
I can find it. I just have to look at this and reverse my way around. So I go down to there, I go back across, then I go back into here. I think it's through there. I go along there. Right, I think I've got this. He says overconfidently before failing terribly.
yeah,
Yeah,
Rudin,
but-
I'm with you on that. Rudin is saying he wants to check out local dev meetups. We used to have one up here in Newcastle. It was like a monthly thing. So you get quite a few people from the different. There's quite a few companies up
Oh,
here,
yeah,
so it'd be
sorry.
like a nice little get together. But it was essentially just like I guess like networking and drinks. So there was nothing really kind of more to it than that. But still, I guess it was like good to like meet up with like like-minded people. It did get kind of like a bit of an influx of students though, who I guess look up in awe at people who are working in the industry and want to always ask the question of how do you work in the game industry? which is obviously fair enough to ask.
And the classic, it must be so awesome playing games all day, every day. It's like that's not what it involves. Not even at QA. I mean, even at QA, when you are technically in a way playing games, that ignores the whole, like, I guess, like, bug reporting and meetings and all this kind of
Yeah.
superfluous crack on.
Yeah, honestly, after COVID, even like outside of like game dev meetups, I'm just looking forward to kind of like having, like I think many people are feeling the same. Just like having a bit of a life back. Like I'll go anywhere. Like want to go back to gigs, want to just go to like any kind of social event I can, just to catch up for the year that's been lost essentially.
Yeah, I'm finally no longer an illegal immigrant over here in Spain. I finally got my last paperwork sorted.
Nice
Uh,
one.
so so that basically means, I mean, not that I could travel anyway, but for about 6 weeks I was essentially paperless. So if I
Hmm.
was to leave Spain, because of the rules for entering Spain under COVID, I wouldn't have been able to re-enter. So for a while it was a bit nervy. I'm like, I hope this gets sorted soon. So when we can travel again, I hope I'm not the one idiot who can't leave and come back. But yeah, so that's all sorted. So once this is over, we'll go places and do stuff. I'm completely lost on this puzzle, but
Oh yeah,
Rudan is
Rudin, I
right
understand.
with
It's
saying game devs not playing a game. In fact, it's the opposite. And
it's
but Rome wasn't built in a day, was it? I guess you know what? I think I can only assume the reason you guys do this is because of just how damn rewarding it is
Mhm.
when it actually comes together. Because I've done very little coding. I have an AS level, which is an early secondary school, high school qualification in computing. So that's like as far as my coding experience went, and I took that course for a laugh because I'd failed all my other courses. But yeah, but even then, just when you get something to bloody work is rewarding in itself. I can't even imagine the joy you must feel when you end up creating something and then being able to actually play it. Like, I was just happy getting if statements sorted. I'm like,
Mhm.
yes, that is what you're meant to do in that event of something. I can't even fathom how people get a game to work.
Yeah. Well, I remember trying to make kind of like an outline share. So essentially, you would have your mesh and the outline of the mesh. There would be an outline, like a glowing emissive outline or something like that. And I thought, oh, that'd be a good challenge. And it was too difficult. I didn't know how to do it, and it was actually really complicated. And it's just like I just want to draw an outline around this character. I couldn't work it out. And I think I spoke to a programmer who's like, "Oh yeah, that wouldn't be the easiest thing to make, actually." I'm like, I'll go make something else then, and come back to this at a later date.
I can only imagine it's just
It's like
it's a learning process.
there's
Doing
so
anything like that.
much, there's so much that can go wrong, and there's so many ways to approach the same thing. Is that trying to work out your workflow and the processes of how to use all the different tools and make them like work together is just really really challenging. Not to say it isn't rewarding, but it's definitely a lot of work. And even if you do get something working, say if you do get your shader working, there's no guarantee it's going to allow your game to run at frame rate correctly. So you've got to try and like optimize it so it works. So you have to scale back in some areas, go back in, reiterate, and find a new approach to allow for better performance or something like that.
I'm thinking it might be a bit like this game because I've given up on the keep. I was too confused by by the hedges were getting on me wick, so I just went, I'm out here. I'm out here. I'm going somewhere else. I'm having a potter around. See this. Try it from a different angle.
Hmm.
I do agree with Rudan's workflow argument. I accidentally made something work. Don't touch it. Don't if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I guess. And I think that's true of most things. Like, look for solutions to problems. Don't look for solutions to. Don't look for solutions for fine working solutions. That looks like that could go from there to there, doesn't it? Like that's a puzzle, but
Yeah, that's a puzzle right there.
but I can't get to it.
You've
So
got to
just-
remove those blocks, so I'm guessing
Yeah, I
it's
can't
on
be
the
asked with
side.
that. It seems like a lot of work. Schmack.
Yeah, there's a lot of vector math
Oh, the
involved.
maths itself. Oh, that's just a no. I looked at this puzzle and went, man, I can't look at this and hear about maths. So I'm just gonna walk away and keep hearing about maths. But
I was a straight D student in maths. I was always very, very bad at it.
I was alright at school, and never went any further with it because I don't know why I went. I know why, because I took a long sabbatical to discover drinking when when doing my A levels, and failed first year maths. So never went back to it. I went, you know what? I think failing this exam is definitely a good way to tell me maths isn't for me. I did scrape a pass in physics and French though, and
Very good.
I know, and so I got to
I think
keep studying them.
I think the best thing for at least the most recent game engines like Unreal and Unity is that they've allowed like blueprints and kind of like visual programming to be like a bit more prominent. Like I know Unity in the last couple of years only just introduced their shader graph, or I think it's called the VFX graph now. So for somebody like me, where I can visualize the problem in front of me, I'm able to approach it a little bit easier, and I have a better time kind of working out those issues. Because before, when it's all just like lines and lines of code, I mean, I've tried to code numerous times, and I just don't think my brain. Same with you, Master. I just don't think my brain just like gets it.
The thing is, when I was younger, my brain did get it. Not attending the classes is what made me not get it. That was the problem. I was just young and stupid, and didn't really think too much about my future. But yeah, it's it gets to a certain point where you have to have a certain brain for it, and it got to a certain point where I didn't. I'd reached my peak in maths aged 16. It's and I agree with Longplay that liking math because it mostly has right and wrong answers.
Yeah,
And that was all the way through school. I was very much like that and hated history, hated like all of these more free, I guess, the liberal arts, I guess, but had no interest in subjects where you had to like argue your case and you were right to an extent. I'm like, you're either right or you're wrong. But as a teenager, I was a little dick who thought like the entire world was as black and white as that. And in cases like maths and science, it often is. But I don't know. I started enjoying the idea that things can be right and wrong to extents, and then you can chat about it, which is quite interesting and educational in its own way. I mean, that's what the pub's for, isn't it? Like,
I'll stick to art where there's no right or wrong answer.
well, how long can we sit in the pub and just chat about any old shite, Archie, and
Right.
and just be like, when there's no right and wrong answers, you can sort of like argue in circles, and then you can finish the evening and go home, and then the next time you go back to the pub, argue about the same thing again. With us, it's normally Star Wars. We have the same like recurring debates about Star Wars over and
Star
over
Wars
again.
is a. What's that hole in Russia? Like the deepest hole in the world? It's got a name, but I can't remember it.
No
But that's
idea.
essentially what Star Wars is.
Just yeah.
Just it can go on forever. For some
So-
reason, the Star Wars has that attraction.
Yeah, I mean, Longplay's right that history is all agreed upon bullshit until a new version appears. But that's I think that's also science to some extent as well. If you think of like academic consensus on certain things, which were I think a lot of the general public are, well, I hope, are learning about it in these times, learning that like there aren't like right and wrong answers even in science. and sometimes scientists get it wrong, but generally they work towards a consensus, and if something doesn't work, they'll change their mind about it, and and then move forward. But not always, because it seems that now that everyone's an expert in science, the entire world of social media can sit and argue about science. Oh, was I meant to have looked at that? Oh.
I think got it.
We'll
Is this
work it
like
out.
just similar to the domino one again?
I
where
think
you just
so.
got to separate it.
Ah, no, look. I think I've got to do 2 of them here. Like, oh, we did
Yes, yes, there you go.
2. Ooh, so I've got to make the shapes. I've already got this wrong, haven't I? No, I guess not.
There you go. Puzzles like these are so satisfying, man.
They are. Oh, shit.
Too many, Paul, too many.
That reminds me of Tetris. Ooh. I think I have to make the shape in the shape. I've got to make the shape somewhere, right? But it's like 3 high and 1 across.
It's 3 high. So you go down, then.
You think I do that? But then
Yes, that looks right.
you think it'll let us have that?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have let me get away with that. Jonathan Blow, sort yourself out. Game's
Keep doing
too
what
easy.
you're doing. JB, keep doing what you're doing.
Do you say JB?
Jonathan Blow?
Ah, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense, I guess. Wait, hang on. I think in... No, I've screwed this up. Screwed the pooch.
Right, you go right up. Go left? No.
If I'm gonna, like, do this and then... No.
Shit. Okay.
I've got to include them both, so I've got to include... I guess if I include this shape... That's not even close enough, is it? Oh, the game has beat me. I'm so silly. I don't know.
Oh, so if you go to the middle one, Joe, I think... No, that wouldn't work either. Go up to the middle one. Go all the way back to the start. Try to visualize this. I'm going to get a pencil and paper and draw this.
Nice. I do... Rudan and Longplay are right about how funny it is about the fact that, like, I didn't know when I went to uni that, like, games were even a viable option. Like, I wouldn't... You know what? Going back, I probably would have, like, chose to study games, especially since I was just off the back of studying a bit of computing and enjoying it, but because I hadn't done the second year of that course, which would be the prerequisite for doing a university degree in it, I stuck with the subject I'd already been studying and left it at that. And going back, I was like, I would love to work in the games industry, even not as a programmer or dev, but I started my career just thinking you couldn't work in games. Like, that was just sort of the thing. Like, working in games.
Told those things, though. Well, especially we weren't. I mean, we were.
Yeah,
Yes.
you were told to, like, do traditional subjects with, like, I did French and marketing at uni because they were like, the world's all globalizing and you want to have language skills and business skills and put them together, yada yada yada. And I'm not starving. I've got a career, but yeah, you think going back they just academics seem to just not be interested in games, and now they look quite silly because it's like the biggest medium in the world, isn't it? I think it outsells and performs film. Does it outperform music as well? Is the games industry bigger than the music industry?
I think I think I'm bigger than the music industry. Yeah, I think it does. And the music industry is very small, I think. Right, Joe, I think try this. Go along to the middle from the bottom.
Hang on, I can't say the name. Dadgumita. That's horrendous pronunciation. I'm really sorry. How did the last puzzle work? We don't know. Is the answer. We think
Go to the
you
middle.
have to.
Try
How?
this. Just roll
Via
one.
this way?
Then go right. Then go up.
And just
Then
turn the
left.
shape around.
Then just try that.
Nah, you're wrong.
Shit.
See, I think you've got to include the two shapes, right?
Do they have to be separate? See, that doesn't work.
Or do we just? Are we being stupid? Do we have to just go up that way?
Does it just have to have? It has to have.
That one's in it, and that one's in it, and that one's in it, and that one's in it.
So yeah, they don't have to be separated. They just have to be included. But there has to be enough space. Do you just throw a square round them? In that
Like
case, like that, yeah. Boom.
We just have to put these together. So if I do like a big sixer here,
Yeah,
like
that does
this,
make sense.
if I do that, just put those two shapes on top of each other. Oh,
There you go. I'm not just a pretty face.
Dadgummiter, you've solved the puzzle for us somehow. I don't know. You asked us how it worked, and we felt under pressure to
Then we
make it.
knew.
So can we just do this? If they keep doing, oh, do I have to put them like side by side now? Do you think I have to do it like that way now, or should I just try the same old?
Oof.
I'm gonna just stick with that.
Work?
Yeah, just keep
there you
going.
go. Yeah, it works.
I know this one as well.
Hey,
This is what this game is. I know. Ah, but will this one not like it? Will this one not like it? See,
No,
I think
Can't do that.
so. I don't know.
See, now it throws you a curveball
I know
Very-
this game's really good for
very
that.
smartly.
That doesn't even make sense. Oh wait,
Hang on.
did I throw the cheeky 2 in there? No. Oh, I'm already lost.
Hang on.
Hui. Maybe I go round. Maybe I go round. Do it that way. No, that still
Bring it
doesn't work.
around town.
That's SpongeBob.
It is, yeah.
So just cheat. There we go. Doesn't work.
Congrats.
I need to get a 2. I need to include a 2 somehow. Oh wait, hang on. No.
Hang on, is it this? Is it? I'm seeing is it this, and I'm quietly drawing it to try and look at
Yeah,
myself.
frantically drawing this crack on.
That wouldn't work either.
Who we? Oh, I don't know. This is a tricky crack on. I am.
Does it have to be? Does it have to be?
Are there relative
in that
locations?
shape?
I think you just have to use that
Just
many.
have to have that many in, because if you just have to have
'Cause I
that many
thought
in,
we could
you
do
can
something
go.
like that.
Yeah, you could go along the bottom. You could come
Right.
up at the far right, then go along. Go back, Joe. Reverse back.
back.
Go up one. No, sorry, go all the way to the far right on the bottom.
Mhm.
Then go up one. Then go left. I'm just wondering, do you actually have to include?
Like
No. Reverse
that?
back to the top of that square. As in the 4 square. Go all the way back down to that corner. Stop. And then go along 2. Stop there. Oh,
Like
sorry,
that?
reverse one. Yeah, that. So that's
Then,
1, 2,
like-
3.
another square? No.
Then you'll have to go up to the middle, like the next row up. Then
there?
you'd go. So that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Then does that do it?
Nah.
No, Archie's wrong.
So in every case, we just combined the crack-ons, right?
So yeah, it does have to have that shape. Then it looks like.
So we have to superpose these crack-ons. But I think you also have to have them in the thing.
Yeah, you do. I believe. I believe. In a house in the clouds.
That's a Book of Mormon. Ah, here we go. Is that it?
It's hopefully.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
there.
it. Well done. Nice one.
Yeah, just put them on top of each other. So, poof. What did that do? Opened a little boat for me? Oh no. Oh jeez.
Hey, I'm just curious anyway for the chat. I'm just curious to like what people are actually playing at the minute. Because I haven't been playing games very much at all recently.
Ah, right, I've got this one.
Do you?
You reckon? Look, that's them stuck
That looks
together.
it. That looks it.
Oh, kaboom.
Getting in the flow of it now, pal.
I know. in the second, then you think you've worked this one out, it'll throw one that's too tricky for us. Like, I still kind of get over here. So, like, was that meant to have done something? It opened this one. Oh, where do you think that led? I've been stupid. Can't go in the loop. Like, that goes somewhere, right? Where do you think it goes? All the way over there? Is that like, are there some puzzles over there?
Have a look back. Have a look back at where that doesn't lead anywhere.
It
I
goes
wonder
like
if we're just done
stupid.
in this area now.
Nah, it can't be right.
I don't know.
God, I'm gonna go around. I'm gonna go around and see what the crack on. I want to get to that thing though. Or maybe nope. Hui. This is a scratchy head game, isn't it?
It really is. Oh, can we go back? Down that little cut you were just at? Between the rocks? Like 180? And if you go up the cut to the left?
Back up between the rocks.
Thought I saw something.
I want to get over to that thing though.
And there was nothing up here.
It just led to some. I mean, I can go up this thing, but I don't think this leads us back around to our puzzle. I just think it takes us somewhere else. Nice views
Go
though.
somewhere else then. One thing might reveal another.
Potentially. Sorry, I really appreciate Longplay's last message that says, "I'm very old and find looking backwards ultimately unrewarding," which, you know, I want that on like an inspirational poster. I think that's one of the best sentences I've ever read. I know in context it makes much more sense, but I just think it's a very good quote.
Oh yeah. Rudin said he's thinking about finishing off Hollow Knight. And I
I
am
need to start
yet
that.
to go to that game. I played like maybe half an hour of it, and I'm like, oh, I'll play this. Put it down, never went back to it. Just got distracted by something else.
I think I could get into it, but I just didn't want to because it felt like it would be quite long.
Did that actually solve the puzzle? Because the black wire is there.
It's letters.
But it seems to have accepted it.
Maybe I do it the other way around. Like, go like that. Reversey Percy it. Oh,
There you go.
genius. I mean, not genius. This guy is
What did that do? Oh, we're moving.
Look at this.
What?
Look at this. I mean, off I go.
Look at that track.
This is. I mean, he loves an experienced Jonathan Blow, doesn't he? Did no one in? You know what? I feel this is a Jonathan Blow moment where he was like, "No, it won't go faster. This is my vision."
I think this is probably a loading screen without telling you it's a loading screen.
Potentially.
Quickly load everything in.
Hmm. Longplay, you're right. I think it was a creative decision, but Archie disagrees. Archie thinks it's a loading screen, but I don't think. Why would that bit be the loading screen when?
You never know, Paul.
Do you think?
never
I don't know.
what might-
Devs
Yeah, at the height here. Yeah, your viewing distance is a lot larger.
potentially. All
They're
right,
pulling in more details.
Right, we need a 3 and a 4 across the way. So, I guess I just pretend the 3s are there and the 4 is here. Nope, that doesn't work. Do I swap that round? Would that work? If I like turned me 4 over that way and put the 3s like that?
That works.
No, because that wouldn't be
Good.
enough. That's the shape they make.
Ah.
So I need to replicate that shape.
This game loves it's
This game is like, you know what? I feel Jonathan Blow's slogan when making this game was "Fuck you, Joe. Fuck you."
Look at that again. Right, I'm thinking you want the strip of 5 to
4.
Is that enough? Oh, sorry. Yeah.
If you can't count to 4, Archie, I think we're not going to do very
I
well.
can't. Sorry, I've just got on a very small screen.
Let's see.
1, 2. Oh, sorry. So 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Okay.
Those are the
There's
3s,
1, 2.
and that one doesn't count, does it?
Count.
And this is the one I'd want, right? But I'd want to go up there. But I need to... I've already forgotten what the rules were. We could also have had that. Wait, can I just... Wait, what if I have the 4 here, and the 3 here, and the other 3 here, and then go up? Oh, yeah!
Getting good at this one, pal.
I know. Now they've made us another one. There's the 2 3s, and there's the cheeky 4. I guess not.
What did Brenda Romero make? Or what did she game design on, at least? In reference to Longplay's comment.
I think the 2 of them, well, back in the before times, were attending a game.
Hey.
Game
Jagged Alliance,
over
Wizardry 678.
I do 3. Yeah, I'm stuck on this one. Like, hang on, how did I put those 2 together? I put the 2 3s here and then put the 4 here.
Well, apparently, Brenda Romero may be a BAFTA winner. Congrats to her. Kind of crazy that games can win BAFTAs. I don't know why. Like it's in kind of a cool way that they actually get recognized with
film and television.
Yeah. I guess the BAFTAs are there, like our Oscars. I mean, sorry, the UK Oscars essentially, aren't they?
Yeah.
And it's quite cool to see they have that recognition for the game industry.
Hang on. 3, 3, and then it's cheeky 4. Or is that not going to let us because I can go around it? No, I just need to rotate that shape, maybe. Maybe not. There's the 4. Broke it. Oh, I don't know. But it's a good thing to include games in other media. I mean, to be fair, they are the best media.
There still seems to be this habit of on television where I saw an interview with who's the fella who's in every film? He was in Batman, but you never know it's him.
Gary Oldman. Actor. Are you talking about Gary Oldman? Me and my mate have
Gary
a game
Oldman.
called That's Gary Oldman, where when you see, you have to message.
Gary Oldman was in Call of Duty World at War. Just I think he did a voice, but he also did some of the shouts as well. And he was on one of our late night talk shows over here, and he mentioned that. And I think you've always got to kind of like tell people what the game is, even though like I'm sure the other person on the panel was like, Call of Duty, what's that? And I'm like,
really?
How I don't care how old you are. How do you not know what Call of Duty is? And I think I saw something. It might have been bloody our best pal Ninja, who was on like the Ellen show, and they had to try and like explain what Fortnite was, even though I don't think for a second anybody liked. Most people probably understand what Fortnite is. So I guess there's this belief that games are still like this. I don't know. This niche thing that only few people indulge in. Yeah, like Longplay says, everyone should know what Call of Duty is because it's bloody everywhere. Like, heavily advertised during the holiday season, like on the side of buses and everything over here. Like every mom and dad in the country is probably buying their kids it for Christmas. Like, yeah, 100%. It's a bigger movie than it's a big industry than movies. It's like asking what's Grand Theft Auto,
and not the felony, I assume.
Exactly. What's Tomb Raider? I want to wrap up after this one show.
I think we need to work out how to. You're gonna have to tell us how to work this out. I've lost it. So I don't know what I did on this one. I did then 3, then 3. Do I just have to put these shapes together, or do it like?
Oh, nice. I've heard there's been quite a lot of crossover recently with people from film going into the industry. Not necessarily with visual effects, but you see it more with see it as well with like animation and artists. I think Naughty Dog was one of the companies back in the day when they were doing Jack and Daxter when they started stealing Disney talent to help them with that game. Oh no way, okay. A lot of GTC and SIGGRAPH was about people transitioning over. Well, there's been more of it as well, for God's sake. J.J. Abrams, the director, has been talking with Valve for quite a long time about possibly adapting some of their properties for film, like Half-Life or Portal, and maybe turning them into like series or movies. And nothing seems to have come of that, but maybe those conversations are still going on. And even if you look at, I watched Ready Player One just recently, and like there's a load of game references in that. Like there's Master Chief from Halo's in there.
I mean, isn't that whole
Um,
movie a game reference?
it's well, originally I think the book's more based on TV and movies. Like there's a heavy emphasis on the movie side of things of like pop culture, and the game stuff's kind of in the background. But yeah, you're right. It is about VR at the end of the day, but not necessarily specific to video games. But there's what's the kind of the mascot for Overwatch? Like she's in there. I'm sure a lot of the Street Fighter characters are in there as well, and yeah, long play. In all honesty, the movie, I honestly don't think it's worth a watch. It is too long and ultimately quite boring. And I wouldn't ruin the ending of the film just in case, but the ending I thought was pretty unsatisfying. You gonna get this one bottle?
I do not think so. Like, that's those two together, but then I can't get this fella. They like said I made those two shapes, which I did. And then, like, if I could do something like that, then we'd be alright, but that's not where I need to go.
I did watch on the subject of movies. I did watch the second Hitman movie on Netflix the other day, and I had to turn it off 30 minutes before it finished because it just became so unbearable that I just couldn't. I couldn't sit through another minute of it, unfortunately. Ruden Sprite says, "Oof."
I am very confused, Archie. I'm just randomly drawing lines now.
Yeah, it comes to that point, like in this game, where your brain just becomes like
My brain has turned into mush.
rattled. Like, Ruden walked
don't
out
know.
of Hitman too.
What was the other the video game movie that I went to the cinema to see it, and back in like 2008. Did they make a Max Payne movie? Is that
I want to see the Max Payne movie at the cinema as well. If you're talking about that one, and that was also incomprehensible, like
right? Well,
just absolute junk.
yeah, I went to see it in France, dubbed in French, and our party was the only group in the entire screen, and so just screamed and shouted all the way through it for a laugh. But I remember getting the end of it and going like, I don't know if I fully understood all of that, or did I?
Mm-hmm.
Did I do big stupid thing? Oh, is this just Tetris? Hang on. Them two are inverts.
For me, like,
no.
if you were to make, say, like a Max Payne movie, for me, if for whatever reason I was assigned to do that, and here's I guess my fad fiction idea for the Max Payne movie, but I would just rip off something like Sin City. I'd do it all like very monochromatic and just have that kind of like pseudo film noir thing that the game kind of had. It just maybe have like like an anthology film where there's just little vignettes of that world in which Max Payne lives, or because like I don't know, it seems like the games are aping off that kind of thing anyway. So that's what I would indulge with, and not with what they went with. Oh yeah, I love kind of
visual
like
style.
visual artistic in reference to what long play's saying. I love that desaturated selective color bit. I love stuff like that in cinema, like when they take more kind of creative choices with the color palette. Like I never saw the film Scanner Darkly that came out a long time ago now, and I don't know how it would hold up today, but the fact that it just looked a little bit different from everything else at the time was at least more eye catching. Struggling with this one, pal.
Yeah, I'm being such a big dum dum at the minute. Those are all those shapes put together, but I need to.
H.
But that's probably not what it wants.
Is it worth the watch, a Scanner Darkly, then? Like, amazing? I guess so, in that case. Okay, cool. I might have to watch it then, because I know it's what's he called? Philip K. Dick novel, I believe. I always say Philip K. Dick, and I get him mixed up with Dick King Smith, who wrote Babe, like the sheep pig.
Is hang on. So Philip K. Dick is the
Like
is he
Blade
the
Runner
iRobot
guy.
one? Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
And Dick King Smith wrote Babe the sheep pig.
But he didn't write Babe Pig in the City. That was just the movie follow up,
He may
which
have.
is that still canon though? Is
I hope so.
Babe Pig in the City?
Babe pig in the city.
Right, if we're talking about Babe, I think we need to start wrapping this up because I'm gonna go somewhere nice whilst we finish this up.
Yeah,
But Jesus,
taking the sights.
am I trapped here? Is the game just telling me I have to live here until I solve these puzzles? Hang on, no, I'm gonna undo this one and head home.
Okay, that sounds really interesting then.
This is about Scanner Darkly, or Babe
Yeah,
Pig in the
very little
City.
story. But I'm going to assume it's a Scanner Darkly, but I could be wrong. But apparently,
It was about
but
his experiences with
um,
psychoactives, and all the
oh, it's
characters were
definitely
based on people. Please tell me that's Babe Pig in the City.
it must be Babe, yeah. That'll do, pig. That'll do. Indeed.
That'll kill me. Or maybe it was do that pig, do that as he hands him drugs. So, yeah, I don't think people
Oh
would have.
wow! You should have gone to Irvine Welsh's publisher.
Yeah.
They seem to love stories about drugs.
I was gonna say I don't really think that stories about drugs are necessarily unpopular. At least when did that come out? Are we still talking about Scanner Darkly or no? Hang on.
Scanner Darkly was the 80s, wasn't it?
No, what are we talking about? Philip K.
Trainspotting?
No, I mean the one where he didn't get published. My head's
Oh
mush, man,
yeah,
after this game.
Scanner Darkly.
So was that at a time when people weren't buying
I'm guessing so.
drug stories?
They didn't want drug stories or stories about drug addiction.
I wouldn't. I don't know. That's clearly a market
I always
for it
get
now.
confused by things like this. So like, it's not like it has drug addiction in it. I imagine. I'm assuming a lot of things here, but I always think stories like that are more about kind of like the people.
Character.
Like
Yeah.
yeah, like it's not necessarily always like about those things, even though they're the forefront of maybe like the dilemma. But it's maybe about overcoming them or kind of their experiences with them and who they are as people and what and I would read that. Like
Longplay makes a good point that nobody wants drug addiction
yeah.
stories where the addicts are sympathetic. They want train spotting.
Ah.
I think there's a certain thing that where people, at least back in the day, I'm going to say, people wanted to like villainize. Is that a word? Villainize the drug addict.
Yeah.
So you don't really want your person with a drug addiction to be the hero of the story. That's not something they want cinema audiences to vibe with, because if they do, then I guess you're promoting drug addiction. I feel that. I assume that's what the decisions are made when they greenlight projects. Yeah. Anyway, I think it's getting on. I think we might have to wrap this up.
Yeah.
It's been also my head's mush. So as much as I'd love to keep chatting about drug addiction and films, yeah, it's been real. It's been fun, and Yeah, man.
No,
This is
thank
a
you
good
very
game.
much.
Thanks for the people who joined.
Yeah,
Exactly.
thank you very much for joining us again, guys. It's
This is
love the
fun.
company and love the support as well.
We'll try
Really
and
appreciate it.
do this on a more regular basis because we're very spotty with where and when and where we stream. So we'll try and make a regular thing of this. Hopefully, one during the week, maybe and on the weekend. There's at least something we can manage, and because we actually genuinely really appreciate the people coming along and having a bit of banter with us, and whilst we chat utter shit.
Yeah, we're working on a new podcast. I'm not too sure when. Have we scheduled that in yet? I don't know.
It'll be the end of the month. The next podcast episode will be at the end of the month. We'll stream in the meantime. We'll be choosing a game to play for next month's this month's podcast. Sorry, shortly over the weekend, and we'll stream that the weekend before we record the podcast. So we'll be playing something new rather than we'll be playing something new rather than an old game. And yes, long play, you are right. The title of the podcast should be "We Chat at a Shite." It's what we do. It's what we're good at. So we do thank you for your support, and we also those in the chat, you know where to find us. Those listening or watching this back, you can find us on all the socials, all that crack on. Twitch, if you're not watching this on Twitch. YouTube, if you're watching this on Twitch. You know the crack on. Twitter, we do a lot of stuff for indie devs over there. And come join our Discord to shamelessly plug your game if you're a dev. If you want to find new games and or just a fan, then Discord's there for you as well. And from there, we'll just thank you for celebrating indie games with us, and we'll see you next time.
Cool. Thanks very much, guys. See you next time, man.
Ta-ra! Look at that.
Bye-bye.
Lovely view. We'll fade out of this one. Look at that scene. Ta-ra!